Welcome to Conversations with Cheryl Weston. Tonight's program was going to be live. However, due to technical difficulties with the camera, we are not going to be able to have our live show. So we have pre-taped it in order to make sure that we are on tonight, as promised, for a new series called Truth and Lies. Political truth and lies. Because we are now into the primary for the elections of 2026. And there has been some conversations going back and forth regarding the position for second district congressional seat for Nebraska in the United States Congress. And there were several conversations that I wanted to put some truth to, because some of them is lies. So with that said, let's get into tonight's show. Many of you may have been receiving this full page, 8.5 by 11 flyer that has been produced against Senator John Kavanaugh, stating and giving the appearance that appears to be in cahoots with President Trump's agenda. We would like to show that that's not true. And we have, as some folks like to say, the receipts to show it. Unfortunately, Senator Kavanaugh is not only getting it from the outside, he is getting pressure from his inside among his own party. Another flyer that is being circulated to Nebraska Democrats as well as Republicans is this controversial mailer, which appears to link Senator Kavanaugh with Trump and his tax plan. Let's get to the truth of the matter. The ad is a lie. It is being paid for by a Republican super PAC. And many stories have been told that one, well, did John Kavanaugh pivot and say he was in Omaha, or did he say he was in agreement with Trump's plan? The facts are, it was taken out of context as usual. He did make an 180-degree pivot on Trump, as the ad implies, according to the Omaha World Herald. According to the report by WOWT First Alert, Senator Kavanaugh has made it very clear that he is running for Congress to fight Trump's chaos and defend the values that Democrats stand for. Omaha World Herald stated, "These attacks are unnecessary, but it shows that we are on the right track and that Kavanaugh is doing what he needs to do to fight against the MAGA Republicans," according to Senator Spivey in the Omaha World Herald. Kavanaugh, on his website, did call out the false ads, stating that something that he said regarding, and which is true, he did feel that the taxes on tips and so forth should not be. And if you go back, actually, that came from the Democrats during the presidential race when Harris made the comment that that was something that she wanted as well. The purpose we're trying to get to, according to the controversy in the race for Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District seat, voters are being reminded, pay close attention to who is telling them and telling them what. Many of the mailers that we have just given you a picture of, which Senator Kavanaugh did agree with the idea of excluding overtime and tips, was a good idea because it supported the working people. According to Senator Kavanaugh, he wanted to make sure that Nebraska's state income tax would also give the same proposed federal tax rate for tips and overtime. However, you know how it goes. Only one sentence out of a whole page is taken. On those flyers that we have just presented, you need to read the fine print. Paid for by American Action Network. Does that name sound familiar? An internet search shows that American Action Network is a Washington, D.C. based conservative 5014 group, which is aligned with the Republican Party. The Harding campaign immediately stated they are not connected with American Action Network. However, if you might remember that name, because based on our researched 2025 election, American Action Network was involved in the 2025 Omaha mayoral election. They began the last-minute advertising to support incumbent Mayor Gene Stothert, where they produced mailers and advertising, running a campaign blitz targeting Democrat John Ewing, focusing on the national GOP talking points. Those ads claimed Ewing supported radicals who wanted to allow boys in girls' sports and suggested he would allow the transitioning of minors without parental consent. While the American Action Network was involved, there is no direct evidence in the 2025 search indicating that a sister policy institute called American Action Forum was involved in Omaha's mayoral race. Now, let's talk about the dollars. Money, 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 because money plays an important part in any political race, and it is definitely playing an important part in the amount of money and where that money is coming from for the 2026 Nebraska primary. Not only is Senator Kavanaugh getting it from outside sources, there is a local PAC that is registered in Washington. However, it was rumored that it was for residents, which it is, right here in Omaha, Nebraska. This is the letter that Senator Kavanaugh wrote to Katie Weitz and Tim Wilson. Katie and Tim, I have worked with you over the years on important issues and efforts to help Nebraskans strengthen our community and protect basic human rights. That is why I am saddened and surprised that you would create a super PAC that used dark money to attack me with negative ads which try to scare Democrat voters with misleading accusations. Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress have led us into this disastrous war trampled our constitutional rights, made it increasingly difficult for millions of working Americans struggling to meet ends. Democrats should be united in our efforts to stand up for their failed leadership and win the congressional majorities we need to check Trump's abuses of power. Politics is not a game. For many Nebraskans, the threat of an unchecked Trump administration is literally life or death. However, your super PAC has deployed nearly $1 million to attempt to smear and tear down the strongest Democratic candidate in this race. Our focus should be and needs to be on securing a House majority and helping the people of Nebraska. Your PAC has already spent $919,422. This could be the difference in a multiple state legislative races or in our governor's race. While I understand your PAC is supporting Denise Powell, every attack ad you air and every mail piece you send parrots Republicans' talking points and is a gift to Donald Trump. Super PACs can hide the source of their funding and often intentionally do. Voters have no way of knowing whether your efforts and those of the Republican leaders in Washington are coordinated or just a coincidence. But that's the nature of super PACs like yours, which was created through the disastrous Citizens United decision to allow the wealthy and powerful special interests to essentially buy elections and undermine our democracy. With respect to the details of your ads and mail pieces, they are not based on the truth and are meant to stoke fear and division. The ads imply that the Democrats won't pick up a single seat this election, and we know that's not true. That part we added. This represents a shocking betrayal of the hard work being done by Democratic candidates and supporters across our state to win elections and break the existing Republican supermajority in the legislature. As you know, I have always been a supporter of Nebraska's Blue Dot and have fought for reproductive health access, legislature to end the Blue Dot or further restrict abortion access. To run ads saying that I am elected to Congress, our Blue Dot will be repealed is purposely inflammatory and deceptive. I know that the best way to defend the Blue Dot and protect our rights to win elections and make Republicans pay a political price for their failed leadership and abuses of power. I am endorsed by 7 sitting Nebraska state senators and more than a dozen local labor unions because the people who are on the front line of these fights know these issues best and are supporting my campaign. This is an election, a chance for Nebraskans to choose who will represent them in Congress. I wholeheartedly believe that no candidate is entitled to this seat, and voters deserve candidates who work hard to earn their trust. Democrats must win the 2nd Congressional District, deliver a Democratic majority to the House, and put the brakes on Donald Trump's chaos and corruption. Accordingly, I ask that you take the following steps to let the voters in the 2nd Congressional District know exactly what you're doing and who is behind it. Stop bad faith deceptive attacks that are misleading Nebraska District 2 voters. Immediately release the source of funds you are using in your super PAC and commit to releasing any new donors within 24 hours of their donation to your super PAC. Release all the communication you had with the Powell for Congress campaign special interest group, super PACs, or nonprofits related to Fight for Nebraska. I am running to stop corruption and reverse Citizens United to bring more transparency to our elections and prevent a few special interest groups or wealthy individuals from buying our elections. I am proud to be endorsed by Citizens United, the country's leading anti-corruption organization. We cannot have a government that truly represents working people when our campaigns are flooded with secret money from the very wealthy and powerful. I look forward to your commitment to bring more transparency and truthful to Nebraska's election. John Kavanaugh. This is why Conversations with Cheryl Weston is doing this political every week, since we are less than 30 days away from May 12th, the primary election. Over the years, I have continuously stressed to our voting citizens, the primary is so important. We are not in this program endorsing one candidate over the other. We are trying to provide facts to back up what has been produced by different PACs and to show the importance that it is so important that you read the fine print and know the information, where it's coming from, and who they are. Denise Powell is supported in her 2026 Nebraska 2nd District congressional race by several PACs, most notably by Fight for Nebraskans PAC. She is also supported by Women Who Run Nebraska, a PAC which she co-founded, and national PACs like Bold PAC and Emily's List Women Vote. The key PACs supporting her, the Fight for Nebraska PAC, which has run digital ads specifically aimed at bolstering her position against opponents in the competitive Democrat primary. They have run ads aligned with her campaign to amplify messages, particularly regarding opposition research and digital outreach. Those PACs, nonpartisan local PAC, focused on electing progressive women, was co-founded by Powell. The CHC Bold PAC, the campaign arm of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Emily's List Woman Vote. It is a national PAC backing Democratic women candidates. The Bench, newly formed, is a political action group supporting community-rooted candidates and elected Democratic women who have supported her through polling and digital outreach. Fundraising. While not a PAC, Women Who Run Nebraska provided the groundwork for her campaign, which led the 2nd District in 2025 fundraising, gathering over $1 million. A PAC that, as we previously stated, is being put together here locally. The Bench is a new Democratic-aligned organization and political action committee PAC focusing on electing a new generation of leaders who prioritize solutions over strict party orthodox and are geared towards winning general elections, specifically aimed towards the 2026 election cycle. The Bench, who endorsed Denise Powell for 2nd District in January 2026, they cited her potential to bring in new solution-focused leadership. The group is targeting these fresh faces all over to represent the Democratic Party, with other early reporting endorsements. This has been according to Fox News as well as local. Now, conversations with Cheryl Weston, we are not trying to say whether this is right or wrong. We are only producing this and informing you, the voting citizens, to be aware and to become informed. This is a representative sheet. It is the 24-48 hour of the independent expenditures. This is from the committee Fight for Nebraska PAC. As you will see, this was April the 10th, 2026, $52,642.35. This was in support of Denise Powell, running candidate for the House District 2, the state of Nebraska. Let's take a look at other money sources coming in that is being tracked. One of the candidates running for 2nd District, Crystal Rhodes, you will note, and was recently at a forum, who did not say she was taking a PAC money, only said that and did not deny that she would not, but that she did have support from supporters, Jewish supporters. This was updated on April 15th, 2026. One of the reasons, and this is another why we wanted to make this alive actually tonight, was Crystal Rhodes, according to her. The reason why I actually got into this race was because of my concern about Senator Kavanaugh's candidacy. His candidacy is extremely problematic because if he is successfully elected to Congress, our Republican governor is going to appoint his replacement in the Nebraska legislature. And when that happens, the Democrats are no longer going to have enough votes to sustain a filibuster. This is incorrect. And I will agree with Senator Kavanaugh. This is another attempt to place fear, and why we need to have voters take the time to get the information correctly. According to legislative vacancies, how it is fulfilled, this is from the state of Nebraska, B32566. When a vacancy occurs in the legislature, yes, it shall be filled by the governor. The governor shall appoint a suitable person possessing the qualifications necessary for a member of the legislature. However, as you will see, there are certain stipulations and rules as to when this takes place. So, as previously stated, Crystal Rose was not giving all complete information when she said her statement, which we just showed you in black and white. Once we talked to the Secretary of State in Lincoln, they provided additional clarification. There are a lot of moving pieces here, and it ultimately comes down to dates. The congressional term begins on January 3rd. Should Senator John Kavanaugh win the Democratic primary on May 12th and the election on November 3rd, and this is the reason why I wanted to point out, because what Crystal Rhodes said is incorrect. She made it appear that if he was win the primary, no, he has to win the primary and the general election November 3rd. And then his term in office would begin on January 3rd, 2027. He would remain a senator until such time that he assumes his new office. Yes, he could choose to resign his seat sooner. And according to that, Senator Kavanaugh made a full statement that should he win the primary and the general, he would not resign until after the election in January. That's when he would resign, in January, which we, meaning us citizens here in Nebraska, by that time, hopefully we would have, and if the Democrats would get off, well, we won't go there. If the Democrats would get more elective positions filled other than his seat, they could have a majority in the Nebraska legislature, as well as there could be a majority in the congressional in Washington if people get out and vote democratically. So therefore, her statement was incorrect and was more of a scare. If you're going to say things, make sure that they're the truth. This is too much of an important race, and no one should be deprived of the opportunity if they feel that they are qualified to run for the race. This idea of a blue dot, and then we should get the terminology. It's not a blue dot, it is the winner take all. As it said, the governor would make the decision. However, again, I want to stress, why aren't the Democrats pushing to elect a Democrat governor? If they elect it, if we would in Nebraska elect a governor from the Democratic Party, there's only one running, then that vacancy of Senator John Kavanaugh would be filled by the Democratic governor, because it would not be filled until January the 3rd, when Kavanaugh has assumed his position, and the governor race on November 3rd, 2026, would assume office on January 7th, would be responsible for filling that vacancy. Whomever the governor is, there are 45 days to fill that vacancy. So here again, this is how important it is to know what the facts are. I hope that you've enjoyed Conversations with Cheryl Weston, political truth or lies.